Well, hello there, friends. And we're back here for a little chit-chat about vehicles. Now, I go online a lot because I'm interested in cars, trucks, and things like that. I've kind of tied into the industry a little bit. And I see a lot of videos posted about how poorly new vehicles are built, how they don't last like they used to, or they're not built to last, they're made to be disposable, or whatever that is. And I would have to disagree with just about every one of them. Now, there are a few little problems that come up, but we're going to talk about those. And, you know, the beauty is I think all manufacturers do a really good job in building their vehicles. The quality, you know, a lot of it's automation, very precise manufacturing. And so I think all of them, if you maintain them correctly, I think you're going to find just about anything you buy out there is going to be pretty reliable. So let's go back to the cost of a new vehicle, which has gone up quite a bit. Some of it probably is tariff related, which is a bummer. You know, I hate tariffs, but at the same time, I think, well, if tariffs are that bad, then why do all these other countries use them? It's hard for the United States to export things, and we've sold our country out. I lived through the 70s. I saw these manufacturing, and you know, manufacturing used to be a good job for a lot of people that didn't maybe have an education, skills, or otherwise you could go into manufacturing and make a pretty decent living. I mean, it's still tough work. It's not the easiest work, but anyway, I think we did sell ourselves out on that deal, so that's that. Okay, so vehicles are relatively expensive from what they were just 5 years ago. And some of that, I think, comes along with the COVID era, where supply definitely was higher than demand, or excuse me, demand was higher than supply. And, you know, the manufacturers just kept charging more and putting, you know, more things on there, and people just bought it up. So you would do the same thing if you were running that. But let's get back into the reliability of vehicles. Now, I am pretty sure, I mean, every vehicle that I've owned that I've taken care of, and I'm kind of a nut job when it comes to oil changes, transmission, oil changes and stuff like that. A lot of people buy it, never ever change their transmission oil in the life of their car. They held together, but you know, you should be able to get out of a modern car 200,000 miles of no maintenance on the drivetrain if you take care of it correctly. Now, one of the things that you have to look at is all the technical equipment they're putting on there. Okay, you've got lane assist, which, hey, there's a servo in there that helps move the steering wheel or drive. There's the sensors. So there's a lot of technology they're putting into their vehicles. And all of those technologies have to communicate with each other. And, you know, they do the best when they're designing and developing these components. And it's when they get into real world use, extreme temperatures, tough environments, things like that, that maybe there are problems. Okay, so you see a little bit more of that. It's just because the number of sensors and everything like that that they put on these vehicles. And I think one of the things that is destroying a lot of people's engines and why there's problems with oil consumption in some vehicles and everything, that's the extended interval, extended oil change intervals. Now, I agree with synthetic oils, very stable. They can go to a higher temperature and maintain their viscosity, and they add some of these, but it still gets down to the lubrication side of things. And once your oil gets dirty, it's not going to do as good of a job. And that's why most mechanics that I talk to when I'm out, out on the road and stuff like that, they're like, yep, I've got 270,000 miles on my Ford Bronco. Never had a problem with it. Oh, yeah, maybe I had to change the water pump at 220,000, but the engine's running fine. Everything is good. And I think by, the oil change interval thing is set by the manufacturer, and they set up all these parameters. Well, what's your average drive time? Does the oil get up to operating temperatures? Because you need to have an operating temperature. That oil needs to boil away a lot of the things that are being captured by the oil, with its operational use and stuff like that. It's, water that isn't evaporating out of there, which, you'll have corrosion and stuff like that going on. So they set that because they're trying to claim, hey, we've got a low maintenance vehicle here. But in truth, I would never let a car go 5,000 miles without doing an oil change. And consider the fact that most of these smaller engines have turbos. That engine's going to burn hotter, okay? And a turbo needs a lot of lubrication as to where its bearings are and everything like that, plus the heat. So I think that's the manufacturer's fault. They should keep that oil change interval on the conservative side, because my whole thing is you want a good reputation. Okay, Mercedes used to have that reputation. You'd buy a Mercedes, it was engineered to last forever. And now there's a lot of problems with it. They're great when they're new, but once they get a little aged and some miles on them, they're very unreliable, which is too bad. And that's because they, Mercedes like, 10,000 miles for oil change intervals. But getting back to the cost of everything, okay, you have to consider the technology, whether it's airbags that are designed into their windshield wiper delays that use a sensor. You've got big infotainment systems with displays. You connect your phone, you're streaming music through it, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. That there's a lot of tech in these things, and they, heated, cooled seats. Now, if we go back to 1970 and look at what a car had when it came out the door as far as options, it had a 3-speed automatic transmission, right? Turbo hydromatic. Had, a larger engine that didn't turn a lot of RPMs, but heavy, didn't handle that well, and kind of was basic. A lot of vehicles back in the 60s and early 70s didn't even have air conditioning. Now, of course you do. They added the interior air filter to keep the smells from outside coming inside, which kind of an old school guy. I like to get on the bike to get all those smells. There's nothing like freshly mown grass or alfalfa or hay. But nonetheless, there's a lot of things that they put in there. And, sensors for pedestrians and, just a lot of things that you're buying for the money. And if you go take the inflation calculator from what a 1969 Camaro cost and what the last model year cost, okay, they're fairly close. Plus, with the new one, you've got a lot of safety benefits, a lot of tech, you've got a lot more comfortable car, and you've got more reliability. Everything always seems like, oh yeah, years ago it was a lot more reliable. Not so sure. You had to play around with the carburetor. You had to always just get that right. Today's fuel injection systems and everything, they automatically do it for you. So I think there's tremendous value in today's automobile, and take care of it. You know, a lot of people laugh when I say, well, at 50,000, why don't you do your transmission fluid? No one does it. But when they've done it, they're like, yeah, we pulled the pan off and it was, the automatic transmission fluid wasn't red, it was breaking down. It had, you know, there's a big filter in there where everything goes. And, you know, even if it's a CVT. So take care of your car, it'll take care of you, and that's the lesson of the day.